The piercing wail of ambulance sirens shattered the pre-dawn silence in Dubai Marina. Red and blue lights reflected off the glass facades of luxury skyscrapers as emergency vehicles converged on the Azure Tower, one of the city's most exclusive addresses. Security personnel rushed to clear the way as paramedics hurried through the marble lobby, directed to the 45th floor penthouse. Inside, they found James Harrington, 52, a prominent British banking executive, collapsed on the Italian marble floor of his study. His breathing was labored, his skin ashen. The paramedics worked with practiced efficiency, their faces betraying nothing as they noted the opulent surroundings, priceless art on the walls, floor-to-ceiling windows framing Dubai's glittering skyline. BP dropping, pulse irregular, one paramedic announced, attaching monitors while another prepared in four. The elevator doors opened again, and Elizabeth Harrington rushed in, her auburn hair disheveled, designer's silk pajamas hastily covered with a cashmere wrap. "James, what's happening?" "I was at our other home." Her voice broke as she saw her husband on the floor. "Will he be all right?" The paramedics' non-committal response hung in the air as they loaded James onto a stretcher. None could have known this medical emergency was the final act in a drama unfolding for years beneath Dubai's expatriate paradise. 6 months earlier, James Harrington stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of his Palm Jumeirah villa, nursing a 30-year-old Macallan, admiring the view. He'd spent a quarter-century earning the villa, worth 75 million dirhams, offering a perfect panorama, the Arabian Gulf stretching to the horizon, Dubai's skyline rising like a futuristic mirage. After 25 years in Dubai, James had secured his place among the elite of the expatriate banking community. As head of private wealth management at International Emirates Bank, he oversaw portfolios worth billions. His Seville Row suits, rare watch collection, and Emirates Golf Club membership, every detail was curated. "Darling, are you ready?" Elizabeth's voice called from the marble hallway. At 48, Elizabeth Harrington remained striking, yoga-toned, immaculately maintained, dressed in a gown balancing elegance with the subtle display of wealth expected at these events. Their marriage was a cornerstone of their social standing, fixtures at every major charity gala, polo match, and embassy function. Their holiday photos, sailing in the Maldives, skiing in Corcheval, shopping in Milan, sparked envy across social media. Their 2 children, at prestigious London universities, completed their expatriate success. "The driver's waiting," Elizabeth reminded him, adjusting his bow tie. The ambassador asked if we'd be at his table tonight. James smiled, kissing her cheek. "Of course, just enjoying the view." What Elizabeth couldn't see was James living a double life, one that would destroy everything they'd built. Across the city, in a family-owned building in Jumeirah, Noor Al-Mansouri carefully applied her lipstick, reviewing notes for tomorrow's presentation. At 28, she represented a new generation of Emirati women, educated abroad, professionally ambitious, yet tied to her cultural heritage. The daughter of a prominent Emirati business family with progressive values, Noor graduated from American University of Sharjah before earning her master's in hospitality management from Imperial College London. Now, as marketing director for the Starlight Luxury Hotel Group, she navigated Dubai's complex business landscape with grace. Her apartment blended contemporary design with traditional elements, hand-woven rugs from her grandmother, modern calligraphy art, family photos from her graduation, her parents proud but subtly concerned about her unconventional path. Noor checked her watch, a gift from her father when she was promoted. Tonight's business dinner was crucial. Investors would be present. Her phone chimed with a message from her mother. "Don't forget Friday lunch, your cousins are visiting." Noor smiled, typing a quick reply. Her life balanced international business and family traditions, though pressure to consider marriage grew with each family gathering. Little did she know, a chance meeting with a man she should avoid would topple her carefully constructed balance. The Starlight Hotel's grand ballroom sparkled with crystal chandeliers and Dubai's business elite. The Hospitality Investment Summit drew executives from across the Gulf. James Harrington adjusted his cufflinks, preparing to deliver the keynote. "We're honored to have Mr. Harrington speaking on luxury investment trends," the moderator announced. His insights shape portfolio strategies across the region. From near the stage, Noor watched attentively. She'd researched the speakers, and Harrington's reputation preceded him. His presentation was masterful, authoritative yet accessible, with insider insights signaling his financial clout. At the networking reception, Noor found herself beside him at the bar. "Your analysis of the luxury market recovery was fascinating," she said, extending her hand. "Noor, Starlight Hotel Group." James turned, struck by her confidence and poise. "James Harrington. Your hotel has set a new standard in the region." "That's kind, but we know capital partnerships are essential for expansion," she replied. "Smart approach," he smiled, genuinely impressed. "Most hotel groups are over-leveraging." Their conversation shifted from business to shared topics: London neighborhoods, Dubai's economy, balancing tradition and innovation in luxury. When others joined, James directed comments toward Noor, drawn to her insights. Later that week, his email thanking her for the conversation marked the first step toward disaster. Their professional correspondence grew, discussing investments, market trends, and eventually personal observations about Dubai life. The line was crossed 2 months later at a business dinner for Starlight's expansion. When others left early, James and Noor remained, their conversation growing personal as Dubai's skyline glittered beyond the restaurant's windows. "Perhaps we should continue this somewhere private," James suggested, his tone shifting. Noor hesitated, her culture and upbringing warning against what was happening, yet something, curiosity, attraction, or the forbidden connection, pulled her forward. "I know a place in Abu Dhabi," she said quietly, "where we wouldn't be recognized." With those words, their perfect facades began their inevitable collapse. The exclusive Al Sahad Desert Resort offered perfect seclusion, where James and Noor conducted their dangerous liaison. Their third meeting, disguised as a hospitality investment tour, transformed their relationship from professional indiscretion to something far more perilous. "Elizabeth's consumed with her charity gala," James explained. "She thinks I'm evaluating properties in Ras Al Khaimah." He'd created an elaborate digital trail: flight bookings never taken, hotel confirmations in another emirate. Noor staged calls discussing non-existent meetings. For Noor, the stakes were infinitely higher. Such a relationship threatened her family's honor, professional standing, and personal freedom under UAE moral laws. "My father asked if I've considered his business partner's son for marriage," she whispered. James pulled her closer. "Tell him you're focused on the expansion project for now." The expansion project became their code, the centerpiece of an elaborate fiction. Expensive gifts appeared in Noor's life: a limited edition Lady Dior handbag from a hotel supplier, diamond earrings from investors, a weekend in Muscat for hospitality research, each carefully disguised in James's corporate expenses. For a man managing billions, these financial sleights of hand were trivial. James's deception extended to every aspect of his existence. His primary phone remained immaculate, a showcase of his perfect marriage. A second device contained his parallel life with Noor. Their communications followed strict protocols: business hour messages, coded phrases, daily deletions. James maintained separate credit cards, email accounts, even different cologne. At home, Elizabeth noticed subtle changes but dismissed them. Her calendar overflowed with charity functions and social obligations. When James avoided weekend engagements, citing work, she felt more relief than suspicion. For Noor, the affair created growing isolation. She declined family gatherings with work excuses. Her mother's concern calls, "You missed your cousin's wedding," met elaborate explanations about client emergencies. "I worry about you working with foreigners," her father said during a rare family dinner. "They don't understand our values." The irony made her stomach clench. "It's just busy season," she replied. 6 months in, James purchased a luxury apartment in Dubai Marina through a shell company. The residence, with panoramic views and private elevator access, became their sanctuary. What began as attraction evolved into something complex. James was captivated by Noor's insider knowledge of Dubai's culture. For Noor, James represented a worldliness she'd glimpsed abroad but rarely encountered in her monitored social circles. "Someday, when the timing's right," James would say vaguely. Despite her education, Noor allowed herself to believe him. Their financial lives intertwined through investments, James directing wealth through channels benefiting Noor while maintaining plausible deniability. The tipping point came during James's annual executive physical. 3 days later, his physician requested an urgent meeting. In the doctor's office, the news landed like a blow. James tested positive for HIV. The timeline aligned with the start of his relationship with Noor. "I need absolute discretion," James said, his banking persona taking over. No record sent home, nothing through insurance. Alone in his Marina apartment, James researched frantically transmission rates, treatment effectiveness. With proper medication, transmission risk would be reduced, not eliminated. The moral calculation took seconds. Disclosure would destroy his marriage, affair, career, and reputation. Silence seemed the only path. James established an elaborate medication regimen, hidden in vitamin containers, prescriptions filled at distant pharmacies. With Elizabeth, he introduced protection into their infrequent intimacy, citing fabricated health concerns. With Noor, he masked his psychological burden with alcohol and mood shifts. "You seem distant lately," Noor observed one evening. "Just work pressure," he replied, pouring another scotch. Both women noticed changes but attributed them to stress, unaware James's parallel lives now concealed a deadly secret. The Noor Medical Center, combining traditional facade with cutting-edge technology, served the UAE's elite. For generations, the Al-Mansouri family conducted health assessments here, balancing modern medicine with cultural privacy. When Dr. Layla Al-Khalidi entered the consultation room, her usual warm smile was replaced by professional composure. "Noor," she began, placing a file between them, "there's something we need to discuss." The words shattered Noor's world. HIV positive, recent infection. "There must be a mistake," Noor whispered. "Run the test again." "We've confirmed it twice," the doctor replied. "Viral markers indicate infection within the past year." As treatment options were explained, Noor's mind raced through impossible scenarios. There was only one possibility: James. The timeline pointed to him. The Marina apartment now felt like a beautiful trap. Noor planned her confrontation, test results in hand. When James entered, his greeting died as he saw her expression. "What's wrong?" he asked, keeping his distance. Noor placed the medical report on the coffee table. "I tested positive for HIV." The flicker in his eyes, recognition not shock, told her everything. "How long have you known?" she asked, voice deadly calm. His hesitation damned him. "A few months." "And you've been sleeping with me, unprotected, knowing this?" "The medication reduces transmission risk," he began, his banker's instinct for damage control kicking in. "I didn't want to lose you. Do you understand what this means for me? In my world, you've given me a death sentence, if not medical, then social." His confession unfolded in fragments. The diagnosis, fear of losing everything, rationalization that medication would protect her. Each word compounded the betrayal. "My family," she whispered. "How do I tell them? What do I say, that I've been sleeping with a married expatriate who gave me HIV?" James reached for her, but she recoiled. "Don't. You've done enough." The next weeks passed in a fog of discreet medical appointments. Alone in her apartment, Noor documented everything, each meeting, message, gift, and trip, creating a timeline of their relationship. Her research into UE law revealed her vulnerability. Extramarital sex was illegal, and knowingly transmitting HIV carried severe penalties. For a woman from a prominent Emirati family, such revelations would be catastrophic. Yet, alongside fear grew determination. James had gambled with her life like an asset whose loss was acceptable collateral damage. Elizabeth Harrington was reviewing seating arrangements when a courier delivered an unmarked package containing a USB drive and a note. "For your protection, what your husband has hidden." Plugging it in, she found photographs of James with a young Emirati woman, hotel receipts, property documents, and medical records showing James's HIV diagnosis. The final document read, "He knows his status and has continued relationships with both of us. Get tested immediately." Within hours, Elizabeth sat in a private clinic awaiting test results. When they came back negative, relief gave way to cold fury. She gathered evidence and confronted James that evening. HIV, a second home, a relationship with an Emirati woman. She laid out the evidence. Were you trying to destroy everyone? James's face drained of color. Elizabeth, I can explain that you've exposed me to HIV, risked our safety in this country. She placed her wedding ring on the table. I've called Thomas and Sophia. They're flying in tomorrow. You told the children? Panic edged his voice. That their father is a fraud? Yes. She stood, packed bag in the hallway. When they arrive, you'll tell them everything. For 3 days after confronting James, Noor barely left her bedroom, emerging only for an obligatory family dinner, blaming food poisoning for her pallor. Alone, she cycled through grief, rage, and fear. Antiretroviral medications hidden in vitamin bottles sat on her bathroom counter, a twice-daily reminder of her altered future. On the 4th morning, something shifted. Standing before her mirror, she saw herself anew. He will not define my life, she whispered, her reflection showing purpose beyond determination. Noor understood her dilemma. Going public meant destroying her family's standing, violating cultural values, and facing legal consequences. Silence meant allowing James to harm others while escaping accountability. That afternoon, she met Dr. Al-Khalidi at a quiet cafe far from their usual circles. There must be others, Noor said softly. If he did this to me knowingly, he's capable of doing it again. The doctor's expression confirmed her fears. Patient confidentiality prevents me from saying more, but your concerns are not unfounded. I need to stop him, Noor said, but without destroying myself. Carefully, Dr. Al-Khalidi replied. Very carefully. Noor's strategy emerged from her marketing expertise and a lifetime navigating Dubai's social hierarchies. She prepared 2 evidence packages, one detailing James's medical deception, sent anonymously to Elizabeth, another documenting financial improprieties, reserved for authorities. Her cousin Khaled, who worked in the Financial Regulatory Authority, became an unwitting ally. Hypothetically, she asked during a family gathering, if someone had evidence of financial misconduct by a senior banker, what's the best way to report it? Hypothetically, he responded, intrigued. Our anonymous reporting system is designed for such situations. For the next phase, Noor leveraged her connections within Dubai's business community. At a hotel industry event, she engaged Fatima Al-Zahid, whose husband headed the Emirates Banking Association. Such a shame about International Emirates Bank's compliance issues, Noor mentioned casually. I hear their wealth management division is under review. The comment, innocent from a prominent family's daughter, seeded doubt where it would spread. Similar remarks at other gatherings created whispers through Dubai's elite circles. Through an anonymous email account, Noor sent detailed documentation of suspicious transactions to regulators, highlighting patterns suggesting James moved client funds through shell companies. I believe Mr. Harrington is engaging in financial improprieties that may threaten banking stability, the report stated, attaching evidence scrubbed of her connection. She used VPNs, creating documentation that revealed James's misconduct without exposing their relationship, operating through layers of separation. The cascade effect exceeded Noor's expectations. Within 2 weeks, James faced mounting professional suspicion. Colleagues ended conversations when he approached, invitations to key meetings were rescinded, clients whispered concerns. The bank's compliance department initiated a discreet review of his division's transactions. Regulators examined patterns flagged in the anonymous report. Inquiries remained confidential, but in Dubai's banking community, secrets rarely held. At a crucial investment committee meeting, the CEO pulled James aside. There are irregularities in your client accounts, he said quietly. Internal audit needs full access today. That evening, James's lawyer called. Elizabeth had filed for divorce, freezing their joint assets pending investigation. The children, after a devastating confrontation, returned to London, refusing contact. In the Marina apartment, James found the locks changed, a legal notice indicating the property was under investigation for fraudulent acquisition. Each attempt at damage control accelerated his downfall. Calls went unanswered, allies developed conflicts. The narrative shifted beyond his control. Stress manifested physically: weight loss, sleepless nights, increasing reliance on alcohol. His medication schedule became erratic, compromising his immune system. During a contentious meeting with auditors, James felt a crushing chest pain, his vision tunneling. He collapsed across the boardroom table. Emergency services rushed him through the marble lobby of his office tower, red and blue lights reflecting off glass facades, mirroring the story's opening, now contextualized in his tragedy. As James fought for his life in intensive care, Dubai authorities, recognizing the case's sensitivity involving an expatriate banker and a prominent Emirati family's daughter, conducted their investigation discreetly. Regulators uncovered evidence exceeding the anonymous tips: a pattern of fraudulent transactions spanning years, client funds diverted through offshore structures, regulatory violations threatening the bank's and Dubai's financial reputation. Elizabeth's divorce proceedings progressed quietly, her lawyers untangling James's asset structure. British diplomatic officials monitored the situation, balancing consular responsibility against the allegations' severity. Remarkably, the investigation never uncovered the relationship between Noor and James. Her careful compartmentalization separated his financial crimes from their personal connection. Through family intermediaries, Noor provided crucial information to investigators while maintaining distance. Her father, never told the full story, used his connections to keep the investigation focused on financial crimes. From her Jumeirah apartment, Noor watched James's destruction unfold as designed, complete, devastating, without exposing her role. His arrest occurred with clinical efficiency. Police waited outside his hospital room until doctors cleared him for transfer to a prison medical facility. Charges were comprehensive: financial fraud, embezzlement, money laundering, and knowingly exposing others to HIV. Legal proceedings happened behind closed doors, protecting Dubai's financial reputation while serving justice. Noor's anonymous testimony provided emotional weight, transforming the case from financial to deeply personal. James received a 22-year sentence with subsequent deportation. For Noor's family, her HIV status created a crisis-balancing tradition with love. Her father's question, "What does she need?" marked his choice of daughter over judgment. Through connections, he arranged discreet treatment, driving her to appointments, rebuilding their relationship. Elizabeth sold their Dubai properties and returned to London, where repeated HIV tests remained negative. Through therapy, she found identity beyond marriage, establishing a consulting practice helping expatriate families navigate relocations. The case prompted reforms in Dubai's banking and healthcare systems. Financial institutions implemented stricter monitoring. Health officials developed nuanced approaches to sensitive conditions. 5 years later, Noor transformed her tragedy into purpose. As director of patient advocacy, she established a discreet support network for Gulf women facing similar circumstances. Her father became her strongest advocate, maintaining their family's standing. Elizabeth found fulfillment in independence, her consulting practice thriving, her relationship with her children strengthened through resilience. James served his sentence in isolation, abandoned by colleagues, family, and friends. Dubai continued its relentless rise, new skyscrapers piercing the desert sky. Yet, beneath the glittering surface, the ripples from this case changed countless lives and institutions. As Noor often told the women she counseled, "In Dubai, we build the world's tallest towers on desert sand. Without proper foundations, even the most beautiful structures cannot stand."